What's going on, Eagles sports fans, and welcome to The Nest. Now, The Nest is a program dedicated to showing Eagle highlights from last week's matchups, and we'll also be giving you a preview of what the Eagles are up to this week and weekend. So I'm Aaron Seipel, Sports Information Director, and let's get this thing rolling. First up, women's soccer, Thursday night action, taking on the Masters University. Lauren Foster gets the Eagles on the board early here. As you can see, Megan Courier with a beautiful ball into Vicente with a little shoulder gets it to Foster, Chino Valley's own, who would get the Eagles on the board early and would be her first collegiate goal of her career. Later on, second half, Caitlin Aaron steps up and shows why she's an All-American. Aaron, on the penalty, dives to her left, gets the big-time save to prevent the Mustangs from evening it up at 1-1. Parker Lee comes up and cleans it up, and that would do it as the Eagles would take the 1-0 victory over the Mustangs, their first of the program's history over TMU. So it's a big-time victory for them as they move forward. Friday afternoon action, men's soccer getting it going to start the 2019 season. They take on the Masters University, go down 2 goals early in the first half and lose a man at the start of the second. Find a way to get back in it right here with Ethan Carlson with the volley just inside the box to get him on the board, 2-1. Later on, the Eagles would lose another man. They'd be playing with 9 the rest of the way. Stefano Racinos does a tremendous job of getting into poacher's position and somehow finds a way to get the ball in the back of the net, ties it up at 2 apiece. The Eagles would take it to overtime and hold on for dear life and get the 2-2 draw against a very good Masters team. We get our first glimpse of volleyball on Saturday where they handed it to Sagu Warriors in their first match of the day, taking it 3 straight sets. Only allowing 9 points in the first 2 sets, and the Eagles really dominated heading into their second matchup of the day with Arizona Christian Firestorm. The Firestorm came out a little bit more aggressive and forced the Eagles into 4 sets. Here you can see Sharique Joseph getting the point needed in the second set there for the Eagles. Later, you can see Kaylee Roblin getting to the 24th point in the 4th set, and that would do it as she goes down the line, and the Eagles take that one as well, 3-1, extending their record to 4-2 on the season. Moving right along, taking place around the same time, men's soccer taking on Westmont College. The Warriors once again getting a 2-0 start over the Eagles, and the Eagles have a hard time this time coming back, but Ethan Carlson here with a beautiful flick on, header off the free kick of Sebastian Aguas. And that'll do it, though, unfortunately, as the Eagles drop it 2-1, and their season record now is 0-1-1 after the weekend. The nightcap of Saturday, we got women's soccer against Oregon Tech. Oregon Tech starting their season off against the number 10 ranked team in the country in the Eagles. Tough way to start your season, but they did a tremendous job defensively and forced overtime with the Eagles. Here you can see a beautiful save by Caitlin Aaron in that first overtime period where it is golden goal. Later in the second overtime period, you see here Riley Martinson cuts past a couple defenders, gets it on her left, and boom! But a beautiful save by the Lady Owls keeper to keep them in the game. Later in the same period, Parker Lee off a pass from Martinson around the midfield gets a shot off as the keeper's off her line, but beautifully saved by the keeper who sends it over the crossbar. And that would be it, as there was not much offensively for either team in the match, and it would end in a 0-0 draw. And the Eagles now sit at 1-0-1, still number 10 team in the country. All right, now we'll take a look at what the Eagles are up to this week. Start out with women's volleyball, who will go to Midwest for the 2019 Go Sarpy Labor Day Classic. They'll be taking on 3 ranked opponents. First on Thursday, starting out with number 25, Ottawa University out of Kansas at 3 p.m. Later on Friday, they'll take on Baker University at 9 a.m., number 11, Dordt College at 3 p.m., and then closing out the tournament, On Saturday will be number 20, University of Jamestown. This will be a tough test for the Eagles as they're sitting just outside the top 25. They've already beaten 2 top 20 teams this year, but struggled on the rebound after that at the 2019 Summer Slam. So we'll see what they have in store this weekend with a big test ahead. Moving right along here, men's soccer get it going on Friday against Eastern Oregon. The Mountaineers are 1-0 on the season after a overtime 3-2 victory over Whitworth last week. Now the Eagles will have a tough test once again as the Mountaineers scored 2 early goals against the Pirates last week, so it'll be up to the defense to really keep the Eagles in it early on as they've been playing really well in the second half of late. In a doubleheader action on Friday, the women's soccer team will get after it against the number 14 team in the NAIA in Eastern Oregon. The Mountaineers are 1-0-1 on the season with both those results coming against 2 top 15 contenders. And the Eagles will be their third as the Eagles sit at number 10 in the NAIA. Later on in the week, on Sunday, the team will face off against College of Idaho. College of Idaho will be 0-1 and will have a game played on Friday, so their record could improve by then. We caught up with head coach Todd Poitras of the Eagles to see what he expects this weekend and what he expects to see from the freshmen in their first collegiate road trip. Poitras of Embry-Riddle women's soccer. This weekend there's a big slate ahead of you guys. Number 14 Eastern Oregon on Friday, and then traveling over to Idaho against the College of Idaho on Sunday. What do you kind of expect, and what's your game plan going into those 2 matches?
Yeah, we obviously have had some great matchups with those Cascade Conference teams already with Oregon Tech. Eastern Oregon came here last year and gave us a great game, and we unfortunately came in on the short end of that. So they finished the year strong, we finished the year strong, so I think you have 2 evenly matched teams. We're certainly looking to make sure that we right the wrong and maybe get on the right side of what happened last year. So College of Idaho, they're going to be organized and scrappy, and both those teams are going to put up a great fight for us, and we need to just stay focused and play Embry-Riddle soccer. Even though they're ranked number 14, we're number 10, so technically we're not the underdogs even though we're away. So going to just look to be focused and try to play Embry-Riddle style soccer and get the results we need to get.
So kind of off of what you just said there, Embry-Riddle soccer, you guys play tremendous defense. We saw that last week. Caitlin Aaron was defender of the week. What do you kind of emphasize to your athletes, to get that gritty style of defensive play?
Yeah, I think probably some of that comes from my past as a goalkeeper, defense first, and the old cliche of defense wins championships. So we talk about it often. If we keep the other team off the scoreboard, it's certainly impossible to lose. So Kate had a fantastic game. The entire back line had a great game, regardless of who we put in. So we were strong defensively. So I think some of the mentality of the type of student athletes that we get at Embry-Riddle is a little more conservative and then thus defensive minded as well. So it's always been a big strong point for us, and we'll continue to emphasize it and play good quality defense, and then all it takes is 1 goal to win when you keep the other team at zeros.
So you kind of touch on it a little bit there. How do we score? We only had 1 goal last week. It was early as well. There was a lot of opportunities though, especially in that second overtime. Saw a lot of chances off the crossbar, off the post, just wide. Is it just attacking more, better shot selection, or what do you guys need to do to get on the board this weekend?
Yeah, I think the first weekend you always got a little bit of first few games jitters. I think we were really unfortunate not to get another goal or 2 against the Masters, and I thought against Oregon Tech we in spurts created some terrific opportunities. I thought their defense played really, really well, and their goalkeeper was tremendous. So they were up to the task. So I think the goals are coming. I think it's not so much that we're struggling to create goals or a lot of opportunities. We just got to get that final pass in and then do a little bit better job on our finishing. So I think the goals are coming. It's not really time to hit the panic button for us as far as we're concerned. We'll know they'll start to come, and when they do, I'm sure they're going to come in bunches.
All right, last question for you. Freshmen are getting a lot of playing time. Specifically, Lauren Foster's getting starts. We're seeing, Kirsten Strauss holding down the back line with her senior counterpart. What do you kind of expect from the freshmen on their first big road test this weekend?
Yeah, I think you're right. Being on the road is significantly different than being away. I think that those two in particular are incredibly poised young women and really, really focused. I think they're going to be just fine. I think when you get in that unfriendly confines and, not sleeping in your bed and being on the road, those kind of things that certainly can play havoc. But I think if those guys, along with their other freshman counterparts who stepped in and have done a great job for us in several spots, they stay focused and just realize it's just another game. Doesn't matter where we're at, whether we're home or away, we've still got business to take care of. I think they're going to be just fine. So, again, they're mature, composed young women. I expect nothing but great things from them this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Last but certainly not least, cross-country team gets their first meet of the season at the Mark Covert Classic hosted by Cal State Fullerton. The number 6 ranked women's team finished 7th in the country last year after nationals, and the men's team surprised a lot by finishing 6th, and they were ranked number 16 heading into the 2019 campaign. We caught up with head coach Chris Bray to go over what some of the strategies are this weekend and what he expects from the Young Eagles' talented squad. We are here with head coach of men's and women's cross country of Embry-Riddle, Chris Bray. It'll be the first meet this weekend, and Chris, how do you expect your team to perform this week, being that it is their first meet of the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're headed out to Fullerton to go against Cal State Fullerton. There's going to be about 15 to 20 teams there, and I think we're going to do pretty well because we've been working hard. And when I say doing pretty well, it's like compared to the hard work we've been putting in, they're not going in fresh by any means. They're going to be tired. They're already tired, and they just kind of look at me. I'm like, guys, trust the process. It's going to be good. We're looking to do pretty well there. And but again, I just want to see the effort from them, and that's what's gonna count more than anything. More than places is what the effort they can give us early in the season.
So first meet, a very young women's team. You have one upperclassman, Emma Lewis. Are you going to have to rely on Emma to kind of set the tone, or is it kind of a team thing to kind of get the freshmen and the younger girls in it?
Yeah, no, that's another great question. We're not going to lean on Emma. She had mono last year, so she was actually our number 2 runner 2 years ago. And now she's coming back, and she's making steady progress, but I never lean on any one particular athlete to lead. Speed-wise, it's going to be Ariana. She's got the potential to be an All-American this year in cross country, which is just fantastic. She's been running with the boys, and so when she chooses to lay it down, she is going hard. She's going to surprise some people this year. Again, last year she had anemia, so at the national meet where she'd run number 1 for us all year, she ended up finishing number 3 on the team, so we were going to surprise some people with her running. And but no, it's going to be a team effort all the way around. So we don't lean on the upperclassmen, we don't count out the freshmen. So it's basically we put our best team forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now with the men, finished 6th in the country last year. How do we do that again, considering, like you just said, we lost some runners last year. Your top, I think in your top 5, definitely your number 1. How are you going to have to do that again? It's another team-based process, or how are you going to do that?
It's definitely a team-based process because at our first time trial, Jacob Kaufman knocked it out of the park. He's a freshman, and he just went down. He laid it down, and it was good. It was nice to see. Luke English is running hard. We sat out 2 of our guys at the time trial. One was sick. One had a little bit of an injury. So they're going to be coming back strong. And we're redshirting Daniel Callahan, who finished 5th for us at nationals. So that's going to hurt us a little bit. But you got to do what's right for the student athlete. And again, athletics is important, but academics are even more so. So sometimes I have to kind of weigh that. So are we going to be in the top 10 again this year? I really, really hope so. We've got a great crew of guys. And even at the time trial, we finished better than the team that finished 6th in the nation. But we gotta work through the season and see how it works for us.
Yeah, and the thing with cross country is you're always kind of beating your body up. And I know
Yes.
we've talked about it before, it's proper fueling and staying healthy, and that's one of the bigger kind of things that you do with your team is the recovery and making sure that we're not working too hard so that we're peaking at the right time, correct?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I talk more about the recovery from the hard workouts than I talk about the hard workouts themselves, because anybody can do more hard work. It's simple for me to throw out numbers for the workout, and tell them to do, like we're gonna do 7 to 10 by 3 minutes. Oh, okay. Should we do 12 or 15? It's like, no. It's just like, get in the work, do the work that you can recover from, not the work that your body can handle on that day. I had 2 of my freshmen were angry that I pulled them out of the workout earlier than finishing it off on Monday. They're like, no, we can do more. I'm like, I know you can do more. You're done. And they'll understand that when we come to race this weekend at Fullerton, they're not going to be overcooked. They're going to be worked hard, but not digging them into a hole before we go race.
Perfect. And so,
Yeah.
last question. What is the most important thing you want to see from the team this weekend, especially going against some D1s and some other good NAI programs?
Yeah. Again, we just want to look for the effort. We want the race effort to be there. The race speed won't be there because we're not pressing that right now. We're working on getting them faster, but if they explode, I'm not going to be angry. I'm the one that's coaching them. I'm the one that's in charge of making sure they get everything right. If we do it right, it's on me. If we do it wrong, it's on me. It's a lot of. I got a great assistant in Celinda Bray. Yeah, she happens to be my wife, but she's a fantastic coach. And she and I sit down and talk about what's going to be the strategy, and we know we're working through this. So I don't expect us to be at the top of the list. If it happens, great. But I'd like to fly under the radar too. I would like to come in, worked hard, and let the good experience show later on in the season.
Awesome. Once again, we're here with cross country head coach Chris Bray. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this week's edition of The Nest. Come back every Wednesday as we'll be doing this as long as the Eagles are in competition. Once again, I'm Aaron Seipel, and we'll see you next week.